Welcome to the 39th Annual Mississippi College Academic Competition. The competition began the year with 20 teams from high schools across the state. Teams are matched in quiz-like competition utilizing questions developed and tested for the high school level. Our goal is to recognize academic knowledge, to encourage learning, and to foster the spirit of competition and fair play. We have reached the quarterfinals. This match features Jackson Preparatory School and Presbyterian Christian School. Let's meet the teams.
Megan Tomlinson, senior.
Benjamin Tiller, senior.
Jake Matthews, senior.
Edward Wilson, senior.
Sims Conrad, freshman.
John Stewart Rom, junior.
Addison Coleman, junior.
Jordan Walker, sophomore.
Natalie Sims, junior.
Michelle Chung, junior.
Reagan Selman, junior.
Which disease, sometimes called variola, was declared eliminated as a human disease in 1979?
Jackson Prep, Jake.
Smallpox.
Yes.
For 10 points, what is the Yiddish word for a collective settlement or collective farm found in Israel?
Jackson Prep, N.
Kabuza?
No.
Okay, no answer from Pres Christian. It's a kibbutz. Grab your pencil for 10 points. If X is a second quadrant angle whose sine equals 3/5, find 1 cosine squared of X. 1 minus cosine squared of X.
Presbyterian Christian, John.
9 divided by 25.
Yes.
For 15 points, identify the city whose name completes the following Carl Sandburg statement. Here is the difference between Dante, Milton, and me. They wrote about hell and never saw the place. I wrote about blank after looking the town over for years and years.
Jackson Prep, N.
New York.
No. Presbyterian Christian, Edison.
Boston.
No.
It's going to be Chicago. For 10 points, which former president said of the 1820 Missouri Compromise, like a fire bell?
Jackson Prep, N.
Thomas Jefferson.
Yes.
For 10 points, which musical instrument derives its name from a shortened form of the Italian for soft and loud?
Presbyterian Christian, Edison.
The piano.
Yes.
For 10 points, identify the ancient Christian statement of belief beginning with the words, I believe in God the Father.
Presbyterian Christian, John.
Affirmation of faith.
No. Jackson Prep, Jake.
Apostles' Creed.
Yes.
Okay, you'll need your pencil for this 10-point question. If 5 whole numbers have median equal to 3, mode equal to 2, and mean equal to 16/5, what are the 5 numbers?
Presbyterian Christian, John.
2, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yes.
For 10 points, which Texas town, originally called Ragtown, was renamed for a nearby creek named with the Spanish word for yellow because?
Presbyterian Christian, John.
Amarillo.
Yes.
For 10 points, identify the capital city whose Hartsfield International Airport was changed.
Jackson Prep, N.
Atlanta.
Yes.
For 10 points, name the first U.S. vice president to serve under 2 presidents, doing so under Thomas Jefferson
Jackson Prep, Jake. No.
and James Madison. He shares his surname with the 42nd U.S. president.
Presbyterian Christian, John.
George Clinton.
Yes.
Clinton. Bleh.
Yes.
For 10 points, what is the medical name for the communicable disease also known as glandular fever?
Jackson Prep, N.
Malaria.
No. Presbyterian Christian, Edison.
Tuberculosis.
No.
It's going to be mononucleosis. For 10 points, identify the other year after 1841 in which the U.S. had 3 presidents. No answer, it's 1881. A 15-point toss-up. as Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court for almost 34 years, who was instrumental in laying down the concept of judicial review.
Presbyterian Christian, John.
John Marshall.
Yes.
For 10 points, which term is used in mathematics to designate a set of two numbers used to locate a point on a graph?
Presbyterian Christian, John.
Coordinates.
Yes.
For 15 points, identify the secret senior year male society at Yale University claiming as...
Presbyterian Christian, Sims.
Skull and Bones.
Yes.
It's a math question for 10 points. If 9 distinct objects are arranged in a circle, then there are how many permutations of the objects around the circle?
Jackson Prep, Jake.
81.
No. Presbyterian Christian, Addison.
10.
No.
It's going to be 8 factorial or 40,320. And that concludes round 1. We'll be back in a moment with a preliminary score. After one round of play, the preliminary score is Jackson Preparatory School 40, Presbyterian Christian School 90. We move into round 2, which is a toss-up with bonus questions. We'll start with a toss-up for 10 points. Which term figuratively used to designate any great decisive battle comes from the name the book of Revelation gives to the place where the rulers of the world will meet on the day of divine judgment to fight the last battle between good and evil?
Jackson Prep, Jake.
Armageddon.
Yes.
And here are your bonus questions. Identify the system of the human body of which each of the following is a part. For 5 points, the humerus.
The arm.
No.
Presbyterian Christian.
The skeletal system.
Yes.
Yes. And we go back to a toss-up for 15 points. Identify the English conspirator whose unsuccessful attempt to blow up Parliament is recalled in the following jingle of 1605. Please to remember the 5th of November. Gunpowder, treason, and plot.
Presbyterian Christian, John.
Guy Fawkes.
Yes.
And here are your bonus questions. Answer each of the following concerning U.S. history. For 5 points, which U.S. president said, "The first 12 years are the hardest," doing so on the eve of his 4th inauguration on January 19th, 1945.
Franklin Roosevelt.
Yes.
For 10 points, in telling Americans to start working to improve the lot of everyone, which U.S. president coined the phrase, "Let's get America moving again," in the 1960s?
Kennedy.
Yes.
For 15 points, which past First Lady is remembered for saying, "I suppose I could have stayed home and baked cookies and had teas"? She also said about her husband's alleged infidelities, "We've been married for 22 years, and I learned a long time ago that the only two people who count in any marriage are the two who are in it."
Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
For 20 points, to which elderly civil rights heroine did the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center present its first International Freedom Conductor Award in 1998?
Rosa Parks.
Yes.
And we go back to a toss-up question for 10 points. What is the 15-letter word for the class of simple sugars that are the simplest?
Jackson Prep, Ed. Yes.
And here are your bonus questions. Identify each of the following concerning Denmark. For 5 points, its capital.
Copenhagen.
Yes.
For 10 points, its official language.
Danish.
Yes.
For 15 points, its basic monetary unit.
Euro.
No. Yes.
Yes. And we go back to a toss-up for 10 points. What is the name of the hybrid formed from the union of Jack and a mare?
Jackson Prep, Jake.
A mule.
Yes.
And here are bonus questions. Identify each, give the meaning of each of the following Greek prefixes and suffixes. For 5 points, the prefix chron, C-H-R-O-N.
Time.
Yes.
For 10 points, the suffix Tommy, T-O-M-Y.
Split. Split.
I'll take that.
Okay. For 15 points, the prefix Luke, L-E-U-C.
Milk.
No.
Presbyterian Christian.
Blood.
No.
It's going to be white, as in leukocyte, a white blood cell. And we go back to a toss-up question for 10 points. Which word identifies all of the following? A region in the northwestern part of India, a type of... And that concludes round 2. We'll be back in a moment with a preliminary score. At the end of round 2, the preliminary score is Jackson Preparatory School, 100 points, Presbyterian Christian School, 175 points. We move into round 3, which is a toss-up with bonus questions round. We'll start with a 10-point toss-up. What is the first name of the wife of King Charles III?
Jackson Prep, Jake.
Camilla.
Yes.
And here are your bonus questions. Identify each of the Major League Baseball stadiums. For 5 points, home of the Green Monster.
Fenway Park.
Yes.
For 10 points, identify the first domed stadium in Major League Baseball. This stadium, torn down in the 1990s, was located in Texas.
The Astrodome.
Yes.
For 15 points, the stadium called the House That Ruth Built.
Yankee Stadium.
Yes.
And for 20 points, the former Metrodome Stadium included the name of Lyndon Johnson's vice president.
Agnew.
No.
Presbyterian Christian.
No answer.
All right, it's going to be the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome in Minneapolis. And so we move to a math question for 10 points. If a bicyclist spends 1 hour traveling at 21 miles per hour and 2 hours at 18 miles per hour, what is the average speed for the 3 hours?
Presbyterian Christian, Sean.
19 miles per hour.
Yes.
And here are your bonus questions. Identify the following by giving an answer beginning with the letter I. For 5 points, in geometry, the term meaning to pass through another line or surface so as to have one or more points in common.
Intersect.
Yes.
For 10 points, the sacred bird of Egypt.
Ibis.
Yes.
For 15 points, the middle of the 3 small bones of the inner ear.
Interlope.
No.
Jackson Prep.
No answer.
Okay. It's going to be the incus. We go back to a toss-up question. Name the reversible patterned fabric of linen, silk, cotton, or wool originally produced in China but introduced to Europe by way of Damascus, Syria.
Jackson Prep, Ed.
Silk.
No.
There's no conferring during. The answer is going to be Damask. We go back to a toss-up question for 10 points. Identify the New Mexico city named for some wooden crosses marking the graves of men killed during an Indian attack at the site.
Jackson Prep, Jake.
Albuquerque.
No. Presbyterian Christian, Michelle.
It's going to be Las Cruces. For 10 points, what British politician, when a female MP accused him of being drunk at a dinner party, replied,
Jackson Prep, Jake.
Churchill.
Yes.
and here are your bonus questions. What name? Answer each of the following concerning chemistry. For 5 points, what name is given to the energy-releasing process whereby a heavy atom breaks up into smaller fragments when it is struck by a neutron?
Nuclear fission.
Yes.
For 10 points, what color is produced when a few drops of phenolethylene indicator are added to a solution of sodium acetate?
Red.
Yes.
For 15 points, what is the final element in the radioactive decay of uranium?
Uranium.
No. Yes.
And we go back to a toss-up question. It's a math question. By what binomial expression should 4 plus 10i be multiplied to obtain a result of 58? And that concludes round 3. We'll be back in a moment with a preliminary score. After 3 rounds of play, the score is Jackson Preparatory School 165, Presbyterian Christian School 215. We move into the 4th and final round, which is toss-up question only. We'll start with a 10-point toss-up. Which word defined as exemption from prosecution is,
Jackson Prep, Ed.
Immunity.
Yes.
for 10 points, in the reaction between zinc metal and an aqueous solution of hydrochloric acid, which element is oxidized?
Jackson Prep, Jake.
Hydrogen.
No. Presbyterian Christian, Edison.
Zinc.
Yes.
For 10 points, which word identifies both a creeping perennial grass and a self-governing British colony made up of about 300 coral islands in the Atlantic, southeast of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina?
Jackson Prep, Jake.
The Faraday Islands.
No.
No answer, it's Bermuda. For 20 points, in 2003, Funny Side became the first neutered male horse in 74 years to win the Kentucky Derby. What word designates a neutered male horse?
Presbyterian Christian, John.
Gelter.
Try it again.
Gelter.
No. Jackson Prep, Jake.
A gelding.
Yes.
For 10 points, when he was asked how he became a war hero, which U.S. president said, "It was involuntary. They sank my boat"?
Jackson Prep, Jake.
Bush.
No. Presbyterian Christian, Edison.
Johnson.
No.
It's going to be John F. Kennedy. For 15 points, which type of electromagnetic radiation contains less energy than microwave radiation?
Presbyterian Christian, John.
Radio.
Yes.
For 10 points, what 2-word name is given to the clock connected to a great bell in the clock tower of the Houses of Parliament in London?
Jackson Prep, Jake.
Big Ben.
Yes.
For 10 points, which word used in dressmaking or sewing designates the art of decorating a fabric with a needle and thread or yarn, especially a loosely twisted kind called crewel?
Presbyterian Christian, Edison.
Applique.
No. Jackson Prep, Jake.
Monogram.
No.
It's going to be embroidery. It's a math question for 10 points. What is the value of x in a 2 by 2 determinant with a top row of x minus 1 and 5 and a bottom row of 6 and 2 if the determinant's value is 12?
Jackson Prep, Jake.
X is 14.
No. Presbyterian Christian Addison.
X is 1.
No.
It's going to be 22. For 20 points, identify the 5th century Bishop of Hippo, who in his confessions alluded to his youthful follies with the words, "Give me chastity and continency, but not yet."
Jackson Prep, Jake.
St. Nicholas.
No.
No answer from Pres Christian. It's St. Augustine. For 10 points, what metallic element is found in Epsom salts?
Jackson Prep, Jake.
Magnesium.
Yes.
For 10 points, give the two-word phrase for a person brought to the American colonies under contract to work for another.
Jackson Prep, Jake.
Indentured servant.
Yes.
For 10 points, identify the theory that explains seafloor spreading and the manner in which pieces of the Earth's crust.
Presbyterian Christian, John.
The continental drift theory.
No. Jackson Prep, M.
Pangea.
No, it's tectonics. For 10 points, which trigonometric function is the reciprocal of the secant function?
Jackson Prep, Jake.
Cosine.
Yes.
For 15 points, which artist is known for his painting Persistence of Memory featuring limp watches?
Presbyterian Christian, Jordan.
Salvador Dali.
Yes.
For 15 points, who, besides Jefferson, was the only president to have signed the Declaration of Independence?
Jackson Prep, M.
Madison.
No. Presbyterian Christian, John.
Adams.
More specific.
John Adams.
Yes.
For 20 points, give the full name of ASCAP, the musical organization founded in 1914 that serves as a clearinghouse to collect royalties for members on their copyrighted works. And that concludes round 4. The answer to that question is the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers. We'll be back in a moment with a final score. After 4 rounds of play, the final score is Jackson Preparatory School 235, Presbyterian Christian School 270. Congratulations to Presbyterian Christian School for advancing to the semifinal round.